Welcome back, Halo followers. Today we're going to be pretty much covering everything after E3 2021, Halo Infinite's big reveal, right? So there's been quite a few minor things that have pretty much stacked up to quite a bit of news, which we'll go ahead and start breaking down here. So firstly, I'm going to talk about the release date. When is this game releasing? Actually, a while ago, we actually had the release date November 15th because Bonnie Ross said that that would be a great date for the game to release, considering that that would be the exact day that Halo would turn 20 years old. That was when Halo CE released. But actually, regarding the release date, Phil Spencer actually said this a little while ago. He said that the release date has been narrowed down to a few weeks. Basically, that they're going to have clarity over the summer, but this is a month's thing that they have narrowed down the release date to just a few weeks. Hopefully, it'll be November 15th because that would be really cool. It'd be, exactly 20 years, right? 343 Industries has also revealed that Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to have a fan favorite feature, which I guess it's a fan favorite feature for other games because we've never had this in Halo, but it is something that is actually pretty helpful in games like Apex Legends, and that is a mark system. This is something I really do feel like is a proper evolvement of Halo's multiplayer. It's a useful feature that I think all of us will find much use in, especially in big team battle. But this is basically a feature where players can mark a spot in the world that lets their teammates know where vital information is, like an enemy position or a weapon location. So when you're running around the map, if you need to ping that area of the map, if you see a warthog, loading up with Spartans or some kind of power weapon, you can ping over there, and hopefully your teammates will be able to help and take down those guys, for example. So super useful feature. I did just envision people using this feature to troll or annoy other players. I wonder how it's going to work, if everyone in big team battle is going to see everyone's pings, or if it's going to be limited to 4-man squads and just their pings. Is it going to make a sound? Are the marks limited in some way? Can you only use them so often, or can you actually turn the mark system completely off or limit it somehow? There's also a couple new mega blocks or mega constructs images that don't really show off or confirm too many things really besides this, which appears to be a plasma launcher. I really would not be surprised to see the plasma launcher back in Halo this time around, considering that Halo Infinite is taking so much from Halo Reach, including the iconic assault rifle from that game. But also take note of the shotgun, all right? That shotgun looks very similar to Halo Reach's shotgun. Also, this armor looks like it belongs to Kelly. It's hard to tell if this is actually Kelly. I would guess that this is a multiplayer, design right here. But taking a look at everything around her and the Marine, this is obviously campaign themed, which makes me think that perhaps there's going to be either customizable Spartans and campaign, or Kelly is going to return, but with white armor in the campaign at some point in Halo Infinite's story. And speaking of why Halo Reach is so vital to Halo Infinite's development and overall theme, Ascend Hyperius made a whole video about this, about how Halo Reach fans will soon control the franchise. And basically this is because of ages and when people came into the franchise. And well, it's pretty complicated, but if you want to look into it, it's actually pretty interesting. I've left the link down to that video in the description. Also, regarding Halo Infinite's beta or betas or flights or whatever you would like to call it, is coming, quote, later this summer. And they said that last month, but summer ends around mid to late September, right? That means that essentially they have about a month or two to release this beta. And how long will it last is another big question, but Unishek said a couple weeks back, actually, Halo Infinite multiplayer technical preview details will be made known ahead of time. It will not be a surprise. We're constantly evaluating the flighting build just like we do with the MCC flights, and the exact timing is dictated by development realities. That said, once we have a firm date locked in, we will let you know. Okay, so essentially 343's signature mark is, when it's done, it's done. When it's ready, it's ready. So we really have no idea, but if I had to make a guess, I would say probably sometime mid-August. I mean, it could be early August. It could actually just be in a couple days here. We really have no idea exactly when this flight is coming, but we do know that it's coming in the next 2 months if everything goes according to plan. There was also a leak that supposedly said said that the multiplayer beta is going to be 10.72 gigabytes large, although really that's kind of probably irrelevant considering that there is a lot going to be changing from here until the beta is ready, so that will probably vary, especially with depending on how many flights there are, what version of the flights you are getting onto. So yeah, I guess my big concern is, will they have time to change this? Halo 5's beta was almost an entire year in advance before the release, so they had much time to change things well before the game was going to release. In this case, not really, not a whole lot of time to make any big overhauls if they are needed. And lastly, I want to talk about Halo the Rubycon Protocol. This is a brand new book that I talked about actually a couple weeks ago, but I just wanted to cover it again because it is relevant to Halo Infinite. And basically, this book is taking place in the events between the event that caused that a Halo to be destroyed and up to the beginning of Halo Infinite, which is about 6 months. Master Chief and the pilot were floating out there in space for about 6 months, and this story takes place between that time, that big, blacked out area. But on Waypoint, it says, during that time, the UNSC has been mounting a resistance on a shorn fragment of the ring, desperately trying to hold out long enough for hope to arrive. In Halo the Rubycon Protocol, you'll get a unique glimpse at humanity's struggle to survive amidst a growing banished occupation that takes place in that period. So this isn't necessary to read. In fact, it comes out after Halo Infinite, so you don't need to read this book to understand anything that happens. This is just some extra stuff, as the Halo books usually are, of course, so nothing needed here, but certainly really cool lore. This book comes out in March of 2022. I should also mention that there is big Halo news coming on July 29th because that is the last Thursday of the month. And we know last Thursday, of course, is a new Inside Infinite, which is usually a massive essay with a lot of news regarding Halo Infinite, a lot of details, just a big monthly drop of news, probably because others and I complained about there not being any news and we just wanted some kind of regular update. So I think it's great for the marketing, but regardless, I actually made a community post about this recently on YouTube saying that we're less than 4 months to release of Halo Infinite, and once again, they're dead silence. So I just want to say maybe that isn't completely true. There has been some news, as we've covered here today. Obviously, nothing very substantial, at least in my opinion. A YouTuber said, actually, on regarding to that post, he said, at this point, you just want them to ruin the game with spoilers. Wait for it to stop rushing devs, because Cyberpunk 2077 should be a great reason, as you don't rush the devs to release a unfinished product. It's so often that I get comments of people debating me about something that I actually didn't even imply or say at all, that he says that I want to rush the game to release like Cyberpunk. That's not true at all. I'm actually just wanting the game to get marketing because, as I've said many times, which I won't go completely into again, but basically I think long term it doesn't help the game grow to the masses, as I said in the post. But Cyberpunk was a terrible example of a producer pushing the game, investors pushing the game to release before it was actually ready, and there was a lot of manipulation. Why people did want Cyberpunk to release as soon as possible, that was actually the least, most smallest factor involved. I mean, maybe to the investors, they saw people that were hyped for it and then pushed it out, but ultimately the blame goes back to the investors, a part of the producer of the company that owned the game developer company that created Cyberpunk, that caused that disaster. Part of the reason why the game was so terrible and why it launched so terribly was because we didn't actually know what to expect right up until the game released, and that is pretty much the same thing happening with Halo Infinite. Of course, there is actually a beta coming soon, so we actually should not be worried about another Cyberpunk, and if it is just as bad as a Cyberpunk, at least people will know before buying the game, so there's not tens of thousands of immediate refunds. So yeah, everyone's gonna have a chance to play this game, and there really even shouldn't be refunds anyway because the game will be free to play, and unless the campaign is equally and as terribly broken as Cyberpunk, then there shouldn't be any refunds on that. I just think ultimately not releasing anything about the game up until launch is not a very good idea. I know we just got trailers the other day, actually last month, right? But other than that, we've gotten pretty minimal amount of details, and ultimately I don't think it's very smart to just go radio silent again pretty much up until some other big mass event where they drop everything and then go quiet again. To be fair, there is going to be a playable demo, a playable beta within the next several weeks, so we have that to look forward to, and certainly that is going to really reveal this game to the extent of being so much revealed that maybe they shouldn't talk much more about it until the actual release, if everyone's got to play it. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all the scraps I was able to find right now of Halo news, but if you enjoyed the video, if you found this video useful, be sure to drop this video a like, and of course subscribe. Join me on the journey of following Halo for over 10 years, and of course my animations. Right now I'm working on Noble 6 versus Master Chief, hyping it up quite a bit. It is so far, I'm having a lot of fun animating it, but if you want more updates on that, join the channel. It's you can join the mythic or legendary level, but anyone that joins gets special perks, special updates, so be sure to check that out. Consider it for sure. Really helps support the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one soon. Peace.